Welcome back to the Battery SaaS Adventure interview series. Today I'm honored to be spending time with Carlos Dominguez, who has been on the Sprinklr board for 4 years with me and recently joined as COO back in February this year. You have an interesting career path in the sense that you had a great run at Cisco.
Yeah.
I imagine that you thought about, hanging up your jersey at that point.
Yeah.
But something about Sprinklr and this opportunity in social made you say, "Hey, let me jump back into a full-time operating role."
Yeah.
Talk about that decision and joining as COO and partnering with Raji.
So for me, it was an easy decision in the sense that I was on the board for 4 years, hanging out with you and Raji and the rest of it. And anybody that's met Raji, and I'm sure they will in the series here, will you come to the conclusion, number one, he's a product savant in every way. And I think I'm stealing that phrase from you. Yeah. And then on top of that, he's an incredible human being, with very non-traditional thoughts. It's a humbling experience, but extremely rewarding, extremely challenging in the sense of taking what I have learned and trying to apply it. But the mistake you can't make is what worked at Cisco doesn't automatically translate to work in a place like Sprinklr or a startup. The environments are different, so you have to constantly resize your thinking or rethink, is this really going to help?
Yeah.
And we came from a place that was very process driven, very slow, to a place that has very little process and very fast. And there's trade-offs. Here it's perfection, here it's good enough. Right? And understanding those cultural differences are, I think, from a transition period, probably the hardest thing to adjust to.
I imagine at Cisco, you managed thousands of people over your career. Any interesting lessons learned from managing people there that fast-growing companies like Sprinklr or other startups can learn from?
A lot of what I'm going to say is really insignificant of whether it's a big or a small company. It's basically leadership principles, right? And one of the ones that I live by is this concept of being fearless but constantly scared. And what do I mean by that? Is I'm fearless in the sense that I will try anything, and constantly scared meaning that I'm in over my head because that's when you're learning the most. But it's this notion that I'm fearless in saying that I want to do it, and constantly scared because I was learning like crazy. And that's been a very liberating thing for me. And right now I'm scared out of my mind in the startup world, right? but it's when I'm learning the most. And there's if you can control those nerves and get yourself out of the comfort zone, that's something that I would say to do.
Any other lessons like that? These are great nuggets.
Oh, there's a few of them. The other one that I always do is when you learn and you see the team I normally have around me, they're all 10 times better than I am. If I think I'm going to be smarter than them or I'm going to be better at, I'm not. So part of being a great leader is knowing your strengths and weaknesses and not feeling and stifling people or not picking somebody because they're better than you and you're fearful for it. I always surrounded myself, and by the way, I let them go. By the time I would sometimes go to somebody and go, "Hey, time is for you to do something bigger. And if there's not an opportunity here, go out and do it somewhere else." And having that confidence in knowing that you're taking care of them over yourself, you get a lot of loyalty.